Welcome, 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 everybody. So good to have you guys here during this call. We are so excited to be able to share with you today some wisdom from this book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. We are so excited to see you. Oh my gosh, Marcia, I'm so glad to see you. Brad, it's so good to see you. Aparna's on the call. Ashia, I love that. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Nancy. Oh my gosh, hello. My name is Jayna Taylor, and I'm going to be co-hosting with Maryam. Maryam, would you like to say hello?
Hello, namaskar, everybody. I'm just so grateful to be here and to be supporting Jayna.
In the chat today, it's so good to see you guys, Robin and Elio, Gail. In the chat, if you will greet us and put where you're calling from and also what you're grateful for. If you are new to the call, if this is your very first time of being on the call, I would love to have you put a number 1. Just put number 1 and then we can see who is new. I need to get my chat open. Awesome.
Welcome, Marie. Marie from the Netherlands is saying hi to everybody. Rochelle is bringing love from Guatemala. Namaste from New York. That's from Andrea. Afsana from the UK. I'm also from the UK representing. We've got Janet. Grateful to be able to spend time with my sons today.
Is there somebody that would like to unmute and say what they're grateful for, or just share maybe a miracle that they've had this last week? Would love to hear from you. Brad, would you like to share? There you go.
Sure, put me on the spot. Right now, it is so dry here. I'm grateful for the rain. We're getting just a little bit. I wish I was getting more, but I'm so grateful for this call today and every day. And I feel like I'm getting a little momentum in my 100-day course studies and work. And I'm finally almost catching up. So it feels really good. So I'm just grateful to be here, Jayna. Thank you for asking.
So good. What has been the most impactful for you in the 100-day training?
Self-reflection of my actions and my thoughts and my bodily intake of food and what I put in myself. I mean, it's hard to say the one thing, Jayna, that's impacted me, because I've heard others express this, and for me, it's true. It's such a holistic, enormous thing, and Clint seems to constantly remind us, thank goodness, that this is a huge process and transformation. Don't get bogged down in the information. And that's very helpful to be able to take some pressure off myself from having to get everything, feel like I have to get everything done or accomplished today. I think I'm enjoying the life change that's going on here for myself. And I see it in other people on this call, and I'm grateful for that too. And to be able to share it with each other is, you know, I mean, COVID is doing whatever COVID is doing, and yet this Zoom call still seems to be strong right on through the, you know, whether we have lockdowns or whether we don't. And it's a great platform.
It really is.
So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this Zoom call. Really.
So grateful for you. So grateful for your words. And yes, it is a process. It does take a while to be able to put things into place. And I love that you are learning at a deeper level, from what I could hear, that you're learning consciously how to support yourself and to love yourself, which is awesome. So it's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. That's something. Loving myself is something that has been neglected over the years, and so thank you for reminding me that. That was my initial starting point in the course, was to learn how to love myself, because I know now, I've had a taste of it. When I can do that, I can love other people more. And
You know, can you
it
just say that
grows.
again? I mean, that is so amazing. When you love yourself, you
I-
can love yourself more. I mean, how many of you in this group can relate to that? You know, when you love yourself, you
Good.
can love yourself more. It's so beautiful. That's such a profound statement, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's, I mean, it's true. It grows. It's like putting the seed in the ground and the thing starts to sprout, and then you water it and take care of it, and it grows and it grows, and you focus on it and you love it, and that grows, just like our lives together. So thank you.
It's so true. Thank you so much, Brad. Raphael, I see you. Would you be willing to share and say hello? Say what you're grateful for? Raphael? Am I saying that wrong? Am I saying that right, Raphael?
Yeah, you did it perfectly.
Yeah.
Thanks so much to keeping me in mind. I am grateful for every day. Definitely, in my specific story, I had a car accident 8 years now, and I'm happy to be here sharing with you guys. And every day for me is a blessing.
Wow. A car accident is definitely life-changing. So how did it give you a different viewpoint in your life?
Totally different. I am grateful that I am alive, and my perspective about life is totally different. So I am grateful every day. I was in coma for 1 month and rehab 3 years. And now being able to work and share with everybody anything that I like is a blessing.
Oh,
So
that is so incredible. Well, we are so grateful that you are here, and thank you for sharing that. It really helps me remember that life is very precious and that we shouldn't take it for granted, that we should just embrace it every single day.
thank you, Jayna.
Thank you, Raphael. Robin, would you like to say hello and what you're grateful for? Robin Lee? Yes.
I would love to. So I have one of those, you never know what's going to happen things. My van wound up deciding that it's not going to be the ongoing van. And so it on the second time it stopped on me, I wound up being now stuck at my dad's house where we have 6 blueberry bushes. And so anytime I have even 15 or 30 minutes, I can go out and pick fresh blueberries. And yesterday I wound up, as I was like listening to my body, then I'm like, would blueberries be reducing? I have not looked this up, but I totally got that my eating fresh, high antioxidant blueberries would be reducing. So that's what I wound up doing yesterday. And I'm grateful for really like starting to understand that our uniqueness, the more we pay attention to that, then the happier we could become in life. And so this is one of the things, and I love, a lot of people think this is too early to get up on a Sunday morning for a call because I'm in Pacific time, but it's my favorite way to start a Sunday morning now.
Well, Robin, so glad that you're here. What a wonderful gift to be able to step outside your door and grab some fresh blueberries off the bush and honor your body as you're intaking that. And I love the fact that you are grateful for your van breaking down in the perfect spot. I mean, wow, that's a DGT will bow wow for you. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Maryam, is there anything in the chat that you would like to share?
Rochelle says, I am grateful for finding mung beans in Guatemala.
Rochelle, would you like to tell that story? I thought it was such a great story.
Thank you, Jayna. When we got here, I had been on the mung bean challenge for 30 days before I came. And so I sort of had mung beans in my world, and I was just feeling so good about, what was going on in my body and all of that. And for anybody who hasn't done the mung beans soup challenge or has started on eating mung beans, it becomes an addiction. I'm just telling you. So be careful of that. But so we get here and we're being catered to, and we have cooks and all of that kind of thing. And so we're, I'm trying to just have an open mind and enjoy what the food is that they're providing for us, but my body is rejecting much of it. And so I brought some ingredients so that I could make mung bean soup while I was here. But then when I shared it with people, they wanted some too. And I felt bad because I didn't really bring enough ingredients to share. So I just threw out there, when we go to the market, if we can find some, we'll make some. And so one of the gals is from around here, and she says, there's no way we're going to find mung beans here. They just won't be here because nobody grows them, and they have to be shipped in and all that kind of stuff. Well, we went to the market and we stopped at one spot that had some vats of beans there and whatever. And we thought, well, let's just ask her. And so we don't know the language. This is a Spanish speaking country and we don't speak Spanish. So we tried to describe this mung bean to her, and she gets the light in her eyes and she says, just a minute. And she runs over to another place in the market. And when she comes back, she's holding this bag of mung beans. And we're just like, yes, we got it. So we found the mung beans. We bought a bunch of them. And she actually had several of the spice ingredients there at her booth too. So we got some of those, and we had to pick up some other things in another place. But now we have all the ingredients, and we're going to make mung bean soup for everybody today. So that's pretty exciting.
That is amazing. Oh my gosh, that's one way of spreading. Well, I was thinking you wanted to be a light radiator of light, or of love, a radiator of love. So that's love. A great way of radiating love. And then also spreading the contagious healing. So you're just spreading the word. Right. It's awesome. What an incredible thing to do.
Yeah, and we just know it was a huge manifestation because it's so not possible to find that stuff here. So we stopped at the right booth in this giant market, and we, found the right person, and the universe lined it all up for us. So we actually were in a little tiny backwoods kind of grocery store, and they had one little bag of bay leaves. It was like, oh, there's another miracle in this whole mung bean soup thing. So there it was, and look, Amy's, and she and I were the
witness to the mung bean miracle.
Yes, she was the one that said, hey, maybe we can manifest this, and there we go, we did. Yeah,
a big bag.
That's so awesome.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, there she is. Now you can hear her. Yeah.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, this is Amy. She was the one that really manifested this whole thing, I think. So.
We work together.
Hi, Amy and Rochelle. Amy and Rochelle, hello. This is Gary. Hi, sweetie.
Gary. I love you, Gary.
I love you too. I wish I were there.
Oh, us too.
We're gonna do it again.
Jules.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Yeah.
Oh, good to see everybody. Love you. Have a glorious Sunday.
Thank you for coming on the call. Thank you for manifesting that. That's a great story. I love it.
Isn't that fun?
Today on this call, we have so many people that are participating. I'm so grateful. We've got, Jerem and Rochelle have done such an amazing job to be able to coordinate the calls and be able to, gather us all together and get the people who are speaking together. They've just been doing an amazing job. We've got Cornelia, who is on technology, and she's just going to be jumping in and supporting where she can. She's always so great to work with. I love her. Maryam is going to be co-hosting with me. Maryam.
Yay. I just wanted to say, if there is anyone new on the call, we warmly welcome you, and please just put a 1 in the chat so that we can recognize you and just really welcome you with love.
This is such an amazing community, and we just want you to feel so welcome, because we're just here to love. We're just here to love you. We have Linda. Linda has done these beautiful emails that you get announcing the calls and sharing the announcements, and we're so glad that she's going to be doing the announcements today on the call. We have Deborah. Deborah is in the 100-day training course, and she's done an incredible presentation, and I've asked her to be able to share that with us again today. Andrea is such a light, and she is going to help with the Marma points today. And we are so privileged to be able to have Dr. Steve Wechsler on the call. He had a free moment. He's jumping on, and he's just going to help us wherever we need help. And I know that he's full of stories. He usually has a few stories. And Dr. Pranav from Ayush Shakti, he's going to be joining the call and answering any questions and being able to share what he needs to share. And of course, our beloved Gary Malcolm, our 7-time Emmy Award-winning composer. We just love him. He's going to help us drop us from our head to our hearts. So we have so many people on the call today, and we're so grateful for that. Maryam, is there anything else in the chat that you want to?
I'm just reading through now. I mean, there's lots of love for Rochelle. Sonia says, Rochelle attracted everything needed for Mung. This is great. Poppy says, manifestation is so fast right now. This Lionsgate portal is so key to all this too. I don't know much about the Lionsgate portal, but it sounds very interesting.
Would Poppy like to
Yeah.
Poppy, would you like to communicate about that?
Yay, Poppy would love to communicate about that. So, okay. Yeah, manifesting so well. Manifesting in a lot of arenas is a really key skill. But first of all, I'd like to share, because we as well, about the 30-day, I'm going to call it the 30-day cleanse, because when it came to me, it was the 30 days. So my table gift to myself at Christmas, I don't know whether this will come the right way around or not. Can you see that? I'm definitely weird. It was a little notebook. Does that read the right way around?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm definitely weird. So what I did, and I started this on the 20th, this is key, because this links with this, and it links to the Lionsgate, okay? I started this on the 25th of December last year, and I did my table gift to myself, the journey through the 12 holy nights, just in the way I look at this, because it's the space between Christmas and New Year, which is a really key, like, limbo time for creating what you wish to choose for the next year. And I decided to write a 12 days of Christmas course, but I will not, for any of my students, have them doing anything that I don't do myself. So I'm test driving this year, and then it'll be ready for annual gifting to people thereafter, tried, tested and working. Agent Secrets wasn't on any kind of radar, okay? So what I'm going to share with you for how it works out is, you end up monthly things. So bonus 6, which was one of the wishes, was about a tummy. Now I'm fit and healthy, okay? But for some reason, bizarre reason, my stomach since 2016 has looked as if I was 9 months pregnant. At my age, at nearly 58, that's kind of not a look you really want to take, okay? And I was getting I got a nice sort of set of double chins, and I'd lost the end of my eyebrows, okay? So bear in mind, I wrote this between Christmas and New Year, and August as well. My August wish, and it's, bear in mind, please, it's the 1st of August today, that my body has reverted to being able to wear jeans and a belt and looking svelte, and I haven't done that since 2016. Last Thursday, I finished the 30-day cleanse, okay? I now have with the lovely carrots and what have you, this is in 30 days. And I ate healthily before, but what I didn't eat was the right mix of food. So I ate rice, corn, chutney and yogurt all together, which was just like this, not all the time, but this festering mess. I used cold juices. I was eating the wrong heat type, blah, blah, blah. 30 days. There's no thingy left. I've got a jawline again. And today, I couldn't get the belt on Thursday. The belt is back on. So when we talk about the power of manifestation with the Lionsgate, it's when the earth and the sun align directly with Sirius, which is the grand central sun. It's the sun of wisdom. And this is when the galactic energies come down really strongly. And I noticed with a gleeful smile that the cleanse, that's the group cleanse, started on the 8th of the 8th, which is right on the portal. It's right on the new moon in Leo. It's a very, very powerful time. My great grandfather was a being from Sirius. I have his watch chain. I have his ring that when I channel, it goes wider. All the timing with all these divine, the ancient secrets, the ancient wisdoms, they're all absolutely bang on for everything that's happening now. The music, the 432 hertz. I've got a friend of mine who's activating the pyramids, which we're going to tie up. And I am going to say this right now, right here. I'm working on a very big manifestation for next week. So let's see if it pulls off. You may recognize it, but we'll see if it works. I'll shut up now.
Wow, Poppy, what an inspiration you are. Oh my gosh, you're getting so much love. Oh my gosh. What an incredible story about you and your diet and your tummy. And you know, since 2016, go ahead.
I forgot, Jayna.
Yeah.
Right, okay, this is the bit I forgot as well. Okay, so earlier, this eye has always been, I'll just speak in my language because it's the only way I can speak. This eye has always been my all-seeing eye. This sees about 6 different dimensions at once. That's fine. This one sees normal world. In April, it decided it was going to have iritis, and it felt like the fluid was coming out of my eye. This one, and my friend, we knew it was channeling, but it was like my friend who's a vet and channel, she said, even though we know what it is, you're going to have to go and get it checked out. So I went to get it checked out, and they looked inside this eye and they didn't say anything to me. And I wouldn't go to the doctors because I'm not anti, but it's like, it's not in my world. I'm a natural health practitioner. We don't do that. Okay. I ended up basically top, root and bottom of it in the major oncology department for a choroidal melanoma in this eye. Now I am a QHHT practitioner as well as everything else. So we do time travel, and Dolores actually came through Jodie just after I'd started on the hospital journey, and it has got a portal in it, but it actually exploded. I've got the photographs of the inside of the eye. It actually exploded inside and was a big bleed. And there's a Navus in there, but it's actually like another, if you look inside, it's actually like another planet. Anyway, just before I did 3 weeks before I did the cleanse, I was sitting with the gentleman, and the only options he gave me, if I was his wife, thankfully I wasn't, was I could go in and spend 5 days in a hospital, like, unless I'm mown down by a bus, no thank you, okay. Go in and spend 5 days in hospital. They'd put a radiation plaque behind this thing that they hadn't even decided what it was, leave it in for 5 days, and then they'd take it out again. They'd put little photonic pegs around it and leave radiation pulsing at it forever and a day. Or they could give me external radiation and I'd probably lose my eyelid and my eye. And he gave me those 3 options, and I said, well, there's a 4th option. You can just let me trot off. Now I've seen what's happening inside, and I'll go and deal with it in my way. Last Friday, so this Friday, I went back to him. I did show him at the time how I use my eyes differently, and he sat there 3 months ago looking like this. On Friday, went back, and they'd done the ultrasound. I've got the pictures. The whole inside of the eye surface is practically flat now, which I knew it would be because it's settled, but it does do something different now, actually energetically.
Yeah.
But we've got the pictures on the inside, and he just, when he put it on the screen, I said, look, it's gone flat. He says, I'm supposed to tell you that. I said, yes, I can read those. And I'm going to say naughty words, but it's the only way I can get it. This is an NHS in the UK. That's one of our doctor consultants. And he said, and you can bugger off out of my room now because it's not there anymore. So that is part of the correct diet thing. And also, he said, I don't believe in this energy work stuff. And I said, okay, what's something you'd like to do that would help you believe it? He said, I'd like to astral travel. So We started with that mama point, that what do you want? And there was a guy coming in bringing x-rays and photos of other people's eyes, and he kept getting distracted. So we ended up locking the door. So we had 15 minutes on Mama Point, and he says, do you mind if I ring you? So he's wanting to astral travel. So the Mama Points are now looking at astral travel, and this is now settled to do amazing stuff. So we'll play with that one day. Now I will shut up.
Ah, Poppy, you're so full of miracles. I just love it. Thank you so much for sharing your enthusiasm, your spark. You're just a beautiful light. Thank you so much for sharing all of those things. Awesome. Linda, are you there? I know Linda was experiencing some glitches but we can come back to her. Gary. Oh, Linda, you're here. Wonderful. Will you just go ahead and...
But good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be. And I just want to share some of the announcements with you all. As you know, that we have the new Brazilian Portuguese version of Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer now available. This is English, but it is now available, and we'll get those links for you in the chat also, so that you can purchase your copy. And as soon as it becomes available for the video portions, which is on the myancientsecrets.com link, then you'll be able to be notified when those videos are available. So make sure you take advantage of having that, signing up to that free membership with myancientsecrets.com, and also being able to share this with your friends and family who I'm sure have been waiting for this version of the books. And
Linda,
we just thank Sonia. Yes.
Can I interrupt? And Janet, are you available to talk right now? Yeah, thank you. Will you go ahead and share with us about the amount of, go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jayna. I just wanted to let you know that the bonus videos that go along with each chapter are being completed as well. It's a little slow going, but there's a lot of people working on it. And if there's anybody interested in translating any of the languages, what we're looking for mostly is German, Brazilian Portuguese, Dutch, Gujarati, and there's a few others, but right now the ones that are completed are French, Italian, Hindi, and Spanish, and it's almost completed in Farsi as well. Arshia is working on that and almost done. And I've got a message from Jan from the Dutch translation that he's doing really well, and he's progressing really well too. So we're just plugging along, but if there's anybody that feels the burning desire to help with this project, it is such a worthwhile project. And you can reach out to me at retrogirl2883@gmail.com, or get a hold of any of us, and we can figure that out and get
Awesome.
started.
Janet, thank you so much. If you'll put your email in the chat. And Linda, thank you. Janet knew the ones that were the bonus videos that were available in the different languages. So go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jayna, for pulling that out. And Janet, thank you for what you're doing. But we just want you to know that there is this membership that's available to you. So please take advantage of it. Also, we have coming up, you know about the audiobook, so take advantage of the audiobook. Once again, those links will be placed in the chat for you. And then, as everyone knew about Denny's transitioning from this body to another, that she is actually having her funeral celebration of her just being the magnificent love bomb that she is. And that's taking place August the 5th. So there will be details available for you for that as well. So I just want to welcome you all, and back to you, Jayna and Maryam.
Great. I messaged Jill back and forth just a little bit, and she just wanted to say she so appreciates the love that this community has sent to her and to Denny's family. They have just been, it has really been support. She feels very supported and very held. Of course, this is such a tough time. If anybody is asking for the link, just let me know, or, if you've already asked for the link for Denny's funeral and you have not received it by Wednesday of this week, send me a message and I can send it to you directly. They just don't want to post it publicly because they don't want to blow up the servers, because there's many people from all over the world that are going to be joining. So anyway, we also have Denny's book as a pre-sale. Linda, can you help me remind me the name of the book?
I am sorry, because I cannot open that up right now.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I was just grabbing that right now.
The name of the book, let me just get it again.
I think Love is the Only Truth.
Only Truth.
Yeah, Love is the Only Truth. So that book is on pre-sale, and the link will be put in the chat. And please be generous. And this will go to support and help the medical expenses for Denny and to be able to support the family. So I so appreciate you guys doing that. It's just, Denny is such a lovely lady of love. She touched my heart in a way. It was her interacting with her just really was a turning point for me with the things that I was going through, and just her messages of love have really touched me and so many people in this community. So appreciate that. Wonderful. Gary, we would love for you to help bring us from our head into our heart.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good morning. By the way, my own process has been, although I've plateaued in terms of weight, I continue to stay at the weight I lost, which is since January, I lost about 18 pounds. I'm about to start in another 30 days soon, but I feel great, and I'm excited about all the transformation that's happening in my life. So thank you to Clint and to this community. I wanted to share something that's another piece that's never been shared before. This is a project called The Habits of Heroes. And I've been working for a number of years with a really experienced coach that works with bringing values-based leadership into corporations. He's really one of the pioneers of bringing spirit in business. His name's Jeff Patnode. I'll put him in the chat so you can learn more about it. But because this call is about our food choices, I don't know how many of you, just with a show of hands, have issues like I have had where food becomes more than food, where you live to eat rather than to eat to live. This has been my issue all my life. It's been my drug of choice, if you will. My habits of comfort food and using food for emotional reasons. And suddenly the freedom to be able to not use use food for my emotions has been so liberating, right? So this particular recording we have these things called the Habits of Heroes, and the fourth habit of the Habits of Heroes program. By the way, he's been working with companies like Cisco, little company like that he started with them when there were only 12 employees and no logo 40 years ago or so. And now they have 70,000 employees all over the world. So he's really amazing. So we decided in every habit, we have the text, we have the meditation, we have a little reverie that helps you get present with just being with space and time, basically beginning a meditation practice. And then we have these personal reflections from famous people that talk about the habit. This one in particular is about showing up. And, we always think about showing up to other people, right? Of course, right? But how many times have we really put the light on showing up for ourselves, right? So as you hear this is not one of those recordings where we would spotlight. I'm going to wait for that later. We'll do a spotlight moment where we appreciate each other's presence and beautiful faces and love. This one's an introspective thing to listen to, right? It's about 5 or 6 minutes, and it's about, I would like you to think about when he talks about showing up for other people, I'd like you to think about including yourself in this concept, showing up, because that's what this food choice thing for me is a big piece of that is about that. So I'd like you to just close your eyes and just do your best to just allow the synthesis of music and spoken word to deepen its capacities to go into our body, mind, heart, and soul. And like I said, this has never been shared before. I will put in the chat how you can find out more about who's speaking. He's one of the founders of HeartMath, Bruce Cryer, one of my beloved friends who I went to school with. We were roommates in college, and he was the CEO of HeartMath International, which is all about heart coherence. And it's something we can talk about at another time, but it's a beautiful thing. You can find out more about it if you Google HeartMath. So here it is, a 5-minute personal reflection from the one of the founders of HeartMath, my beloved friend Bruce Cryer, talking about showing up. Here we go. Hold on. So just let yourself really include yourself in this, showing up for ourselves around our food choices.
I've been a coach, a manager, CEO several times, a mentor, and the whole time I've been a dad too. So I've had tons of opportunities to truly show up. Each phase of my career, each role I've had to play, each one has had its own challenges to really show up. As you listen to these stories that I'm going to share, my hope is that my experiences might enrich your practice of showing up. Maybe give you a new lens or two through which you can view your own journey. Many years ago, when I first became a manager, it was so cool. I was so excited. I had a title. I had authority. Now, no one else was quite as excited as I was. But I had authority. I was somebody. One of the first lessons I learned about showing up was not to throw my weight around, but just to be present with each person, what their needs were. It took some seasoning before I really understood how important that was as a manager. A number of years later, I was invited into a new startup. It was a very exciting time. And a year or two into the growth of the company, I was asked to take on a new responsibility and build a new team. And I thought, wow, this is great. So I handpicked 3 or 4 people that I wanted to work with, building all these new relationships and getting new clients. And we needed to grow, and we looked outside the organization for someone new, and we found her. And we were so excited when she joined us. Her resume was amazing. But it took some time for her to integrate. And after a while, I realized there was some dissension, things weren't quite working right. And I heard that she was dissatisfied and unhappy. And I came back off the road and said, let's have a meeting as a team, talk about this. But I realized in myself that this was a moment of truth for me as a manager. I needed to really hear her issues and not try to fix her, not try to defend, not try to make her wrong or tell her, no, your perceptions are not right at all. So we had the meeting. She shared her perceptions. And I sat there and I just said, I hear you. Here's what I think you're saying. And she threw her hands up in the air and she said, someone has finally heard me, thank you. And I asked her a little bit more and she said, I feel so much lighter. And now I even realized that some of this was my perception, not how you guys were really treating me. And what began was the beginning of a whole new process of the team working better and better together. And it had started with me showing up, listening, caring, being in the moment. Several years later, as my success grew, I was asked to become CEO of the organization. leading people who had been my friends and colleagues for years. And I once again had to realize that people are seeing me through a new lens. A lens of someone who has a very big title, CEO, who therefore can hire, can fire, can set policy, some of which could be not fun for people in the organization. And that people were now looking at my body language, what I wasn't saying, not just what I was saying. So I realized in those moments that now especially I needed to show up, make sure that people felt heard, that people felt valued, that people felt respected. Whatever about my agenda, to be there for them, to be in the moment of now with them. And all this time, I was a father, traveling a lot. My daughter had grown up with me traveling, so she was used to it. But when I was starting, I felt guilt, didn't want to be gone from her. And I'd come home with a gift, and she'd love it. And then after several of these, she started getting really used to me coming home with a gift. That seemed to be more important than that I was coming home. And it took all the courage I could muster to stop getting all the gifts and just to arrive home for her to feel I loved her no matter whether there was a gift or not. And it was such a deep life lesson to show up for her, just for her to know I loved her. So my final wish for you is that at least one of these stories has started some spark inside you that will give you some lasting value on your noble journey. These habits of heroes that you are courageously undertaking right now.
So although that doesn't apply directly to how we show up for ourselves, the principles are still the same, and it's still as heroic, really showing up for ourselves in a way that reflects who we are now, what we care about, what we want, what future is pulling us into this new relationship with food and with life and with time in a way that really says, I love myself and I'm going to show up for myself, and have an experiment with 30 days, for example, or 100 days, or however many days, one day at a time. So I just thank you for letting me share the habits of heroes. And just want to say also, because this is the moment, we'll probably have a moment for just heart opening sharing of community. I have moved the time of my soul song celebration because true to form, this is the community that has showed up most for me around my soul song celebration. So I've moved it to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time so it won't conflict with the 100-day course. So I know, so who wants to go to 2 Zoom courses in a row? Maybe not. But I did want you to know that because you guys are the people that have really been there for me as I explore this soul song celebration and what it does, I moved it to 10 a.m. PST, which is 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'll put the chat I'll put the notice in the chat, but love you guys. And thank you so much for letting me share my work with you all. I love you all. I love you and I'm with you.
Thank you, Gary. It is so important to realize that we should be the gift when we show up, when we come, that we really are the gift. So thank you for that message. We so appreciate that. Maryam.
Yeah, that was the story that really resonated with me as well, that we are enough. And it's such an important message. Yeah, Jayna, you said it beautifully. We are the gift. We are enough. Gary, thank you and bless you. Just beautiful every time. There's so much love in the chat right now. That was incredible, Gary. Thank you. Wonderful share, Gary. It says, Gary, give us the place and time. I know you're going to do that soon. Love you, Gary. Yeah. Esther Francis says, Gary, once again, my heart is full, my eyes tearful with that confirmation that my heart, with that confirmation from my heart.
Thank you. Thank you. And also remember, when you sign up for wisdomoftheworld.com, you actually, this is Clint's and my musical world. So Clint is a reason that Wisdom of the World Wellness exists, because otherwise I would have gone by the wayside if Clint hadn't showed up in my life 11 years, 12 years ago. So join wisdomoftheworld.com and you can actually get more knowledge about all the stuff that goes on, and you can have this music for yourself. Anyway, thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. You know, Sonia, I neglected to, when we were announcing the book in Portuguese, Sonia, I forgot to have you share. We would love to have you share.
We have time. Hello, everybody. Nice to be here, as always. Yeah, I'm very pleased to be here and talk about, I don't have much to say except that it was an honor. It was a test, a good test, because translating together, it's something different when you are, you have always worked by yourself. And this was the first thing. The other things that I have worked with Louisa, a very nice young girl, and with Jenny, that was in charge of the editing. And at some point of this 3 months working, I get insight that was a kind of higher energy driving us. It's like driving the whole process, because it's not just Brazilian Portuguese version. It's not just French or English version. It was a whole new world. And that encompasses not Sonia and Louisa and Jenny, but Clinton and Nara and Jivaka and all the Vajas and all the people that's in this wonderful course. So it's it's an opening completely, together with, you know, enjoying the diets and the mamas and the home remedies and the changings go in my body and my mind and my emotions. It's great. I talk with Janet about helping the bonus that I'm here. And I think that one thing more is that the chapter that tests me most, it was chapter 9, where Dr. Naran talks about healing his mother, that it took a long time to get his mother healed. And I thought to myself, oh, I have to be patient. It will took more than 5 months or 4 months. It took longer because I used my body very much in the wrong way, or in the way I felt good at time, but it was not so good. Mm-hmm. So it's a learning, and open. And by the end of everything, I know that our heart is the base of everything. Mm-hmm. The 3 phrases of Dr. Naran: I don't teach you, I love you. Love teaches you. That's it. Let's open our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonia. It's so amazing. Thank you to these translators who have touched every single word of the book multiple times, looking for the very best way to communicate in their language these incredible gifts from this book. And when I think about Sonia, there seems to be lots of miracles. I did see in the chat that Alfsena said, you know, Sonia's going to be changing lives, and it's very true. What you are doing, this labor of love that you're doing, is really going to affect a lot of people. And we're so grateful for you and Louisa. But there was a lot of miracles that happened. You know, your own transformation, your connection to this story. But even I think you weren't working on the book for a while, and Louisa was working on it. Is that right? Do you remember that story?
Yes, yes. I was no. My sister Clarice told me, Sonia, they need help in the Brazilian Portuguese version. Could you please help? Because I made translation. So, and I say, together with somebody else, oh, this be different. And then I went with Luisa and we just connect, and there we go. It was fantastic. It was very, very, very nice processing and experience I had with her. And with Jenny also, and all the little problems that came, and the laughs and the sorrow and the tears also, because we did many, we worked hard, and then the archive came back. There's nothing what we had done. You know, everything disappeared. This happens once or twice, and Jesus, what are we going to do? There's nothing there. Oh my God. And this kind of thing that happens, and it was funny the way we could give solutions to every little problem that surrounded us during this effort. to make
Yes,
the
well,
translation.
I remember one story specifically. Louisa was telling me. She said that you know, the translation, because of what you were just saying, the challenges that came up with translating the book. She had some other projects that she had to get engaged with, and she was like, you know, she knew that she didn't want to leave you to translating the book by herself, and so she wrote down a prayer and she prayed, and she also talked to Dr. Naram and said, please help me find somebody to help translate this book. And that very day, somebody contacted Clint and said, I can help with this translation and be able to complete this this project and be able to get it done. So there are so many miracles that happen when we are open to them, and when we look for them, and when we ask for them. So it was such a beautiful thing to be able to see her excitement for her prayer being answered that day.
Yes, it was incredible. She was so happy and in despair because she couldn't do it. She was doing examinations on laws, concluding his graduation, and mixed up traveling from her city to the São Paulo, and from São Paulo back to Recife. It was hard time she was having, and the way the things work, it's all right. And I have to say one thing, that Dr. Nara was all the time together with us. We could dream of him. We could say him, son, stand by, don't go away, keep calm, don't mess around. Don't be troublesome, take it easy, laugh. That was the recommendations Nara gave us. It's true. There is an energetic energy, a memory, a collective memory that where Nara is in and is spreading throughout us. It's lovely. It's splendid. It's nice.
It is. I'm seeing all the translators nodding their head yes, and even people in the community that have connected with Dr. Naram on a regular basis, they're nodding their head yes, that Dr. Naram is very much alive and well.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sonia. So appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service, and thank you for all of the translators and their service. Maryam, I think we're ready for the slides, Cornelia. Maryam, do you want to say anything?
Yeah. I just wanted, well, firstly, I just want to send so much appreciation to Sonia and Louisa and all the translators. We are so grateful for you and so blessed. I noticed that Demeter had her hand raised before, and I don't know if we want her to share now or share after, or Demeter, would you like to share with us? If you're still there, Demeter. So Demeter's iPad.
Well, she can always raise her hand again if we're not able to connect. But so if we're ready for the slides, Cornelia.
Namaskar, friends and families joining from all around the world. The divinity, that spark of light in me, loves and bows down to the divinity, that spark of light within you. So let's explore chapter 11 of the Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. This chapter is about diet and detox. Dr. Giovanni said, the same food that can be a medicine for one person can be a poison for another. As we look at this chapter together, I invite you to reflect on this question. Which ways do you feel changing your food could change your future? So here are the highlights of chapter 11. We learn of 6 keys for deeper healing. We discover a Mama Shakti or subtle energy point for improving memory. We learn of a recipe for mung soup, also known as mung bean soup, for detoxing the body, reducing inflammation, and other health benefits. We discover more about Panchakarma and Astakarma, which are detox processes in Ayurveda and Siddhaveda. We hear the story of Susie, who was diagnosed with hepatitis A by Dr. Naram by simply using pulse reading. We also learn more about the art and science of pulse reading. In this chapter, Dr. Naram shares, when my master helped me discover my mission was to bring this ancient healing system to every home, every heart on earth, I didn't believe it. At the time, I didn't even have one patient. But when this movement of deeper healing started happening in Europe, I was hopeful that my master saw something I didn't. And it just continues. This silent revolution of deeper healing has caught a spark that is now turning into a fire. Dr. Naram shares, Italy was my first visit to Europe, and everything seemed strange compared to India. No one spoke English, and as I began speaking at the seminar Susie created, everyone looked at me funny. Susie was a previous patient and dear friend of Dr. Naram. Dr. Clint explains, with Susie translating, Dr. Naram asked the audience if anyone had ever heard of Siddhaveda or Ayurveda before. No one raised their hand. Dr. Naram asked if anyone was interested, and not one hand went up. How many of you are interested in living up to 100 years? Asked Dr. Naram. Only one person raised their hand. Susie encouraged Dr. Naram to share his personal healing story. So he did. Dr. Naram spoke about meeting his 115-year young master and how part of his secret to long life entailed mostly avoiding cheese, avoiding tomatoes, avoiding wheat products, and alcohol. The crowd erupted. One man stood up and shouted, "What? No cheese, no wine, no pasta. This is not acceptable." Dr. Naram said, "I was very confused. I wondered if I'd made a mistake in coming to Italy. I decided to talk about my master, showed pictures and shared the story of meeting him and studying with him. And believe it or not, something of a miracle happened." Then one person raised her hand and asked, "When can I show you my pulse?" Susie, in this chapter, shares her experience of what pulse reading is. She says, instead of taking a blood test and running an exam, Dr. Naram can read the signals in your pulse. Through the pulse diagnosis, Dr. Naram is able to understand what is wrong in your body. She says, I know many doctors are skeptical of this, but I have seen many like me who went to Dr. Naram and had the same experience. Patients of Dr. Naram went to have blood tests and other exams, which confirmed what he had already diagnosed through the pulse. Susie explains, it takes many years to master this skill because it is both an art and a science. She says, through the fingers, you can know what level the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha are. You can feel if there is an imbalance. And if you go deeper, you can understand if there is a block and where it is. Dr. Clint further explains, I knew that Susie was talking about the elemental aspects of the body that both Siddha-Vedic and Ayurvedic approaches to healing are based on. Vata is the wind energy, Pitta is fire, and Kapha is water, earth. Susie says each person's constitution is different, depending on which quality or combination of qualities is predominant. Based on how they manifest in the pulse, imbalances can be detected and illnesses diagnosed. Dr. Clint shares, although most people can work through their challenges without going anywhere, in extreme cases, or when someone is seeking faster progress, they can go for Panchakarma or Astakarma. Both are multi-process cleansing methods rebuilding the body's core systems. Panchakarma consists of 5 actions to remove toxins from the body. In Astakarma, there are 8 actions to cleanse, purify, and rebalance the body from the inside out. Susie says, Dr. Naram teaches you how to take care of your body before you get sick, how to eat the right food, which herbal supplements to take, and what lifestyle to follow, proper sleeping, exercise, work routines, and how to make time for prayer or meditation. If you know what to do and what not to do, you won't get sick in the first place. This is the real power of Siddha-Veda. Dr. Naram asks Dr. Clint, do you know what the 6 keys are now? And Dr. Clint says, you told me about home remedies, herbal remedies, and mama. Luckily, Susie was overexcited to share them again, so Dr. Clint didn't have to guess. Diet, Panchakarma or Astakarma, and lifestyle. Dr. Clint asks Dr. Naram, and what diet secrets did you learn from your master? Very good question, says Dr. Naram. I wanted to find out what he was doing to live more than 100 years of age, feeling so young. What was he doing differently than most people who started to feel old at 50? One of the biggest differences he taught me was in our food. He taught me if you change your food, you can change your future. Dr. Clint said, I believe you, but what exactly should I eat and what should I avoid? Dr. Naram said, I need to go back to seeing people now, but I'm very glad you're asking that question. If you learn properly which foods to eat and which to avoid, it can change your life. You will gain a power to know what makes you sick, what makes you healthy, what helps heal you deeply, and what can help you live past 100 with vibrant health, unlimited energy, and peace of mind. Dr. Clint says, just when I thought I was starting to understand the relationship between diet and health, Dr. Naram scrambled my brain. Dr. Naram said, come with me. And Dr. Giovanni and Clint, I must take you somewhere. Where? Said Dr. Clint. I want to take you to the best pizza restaurant in Italy. And Dr. Clint said, when I challenged him about eating pizza, Dr. Naram smiled and said, my master told me never to become so emotionally rigid that I become dry. Pizza is not good for my body, true, but it is very good for my emotions. So the question is, how can we occasionally enjoy this food, but not at the expense of our health? Dr. Naram says, if you eat these foods every day or even every week, they create toxins in your body and are not good for your digestion. Then you have to go for a long period of not eating them so your body can purify and rebalance. I follow a very strict diet for the whole year, but once a year, when I am in Italy, I want to enjoy the best pizza. I prepare my body by eating mung soup and taking herbs that help me digest and not build up toxins. That way I can have food for my emotions and my body doesn't suffer. Dr. Giovanni shares, the same food that can be a medicine for one person can be a poison for another. He says, when I first saw Dr. Naram using hot sauce, I thought it must be because it was a healthy thing to do. So I started using a lot of hot sauce. Soon I was suffering so much. I didn't know that hot sauce was good for him, acting as a medicine, because he is predominantly Kapha, water earth dosha. I already had a lot of pitta, fire dosha in my body, and so the hot sauce pushed it to an overload. In this chapter, we hear of Dr. Naram's philosophy. Dr. Clint shares, once people understand the principles of what creates health versus what creates illness and disease, they also need to remember that life must be enjoyed. If you become too rigid and strict, what is the use of living? Dr. Naram's master taught Dr. Naram how to know what you want, achieve what you want, and then enjoy it. That last part, enjoying it, was essential. So I bring you back to that first question. Which ways do you feel changing your food could change your future? And one more question, which home remedies have you tried from the ancient secrets of a master healer? And what have you noticed? I want to thank you again for giving me this amazing, incredible opportunity and honor to share the highlights of chapter 11 from the ancient secrets of a master healer. I thank my family, I thank my teachers and the Siddhaveda lineage, and I thank you. I love you, and I'm with you. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar.
Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Global family. Thank you, Dr. Clint and Dr. Naram. I love you eternally. So, our creator gave us a hack. We can actually hack our digestive system when we are planning to eat foods that are not very beneficial to our bodies. I love her even more, our mighty creator. Whew. So, as was mentioned in the book, Agni is very important. That's our digestive power. If our Agni is strong, it reduces the toxins, which then reduces our chances of developing inflammation and diseases. Dr. Naram says, it's important to adhere to a healthful diet, of course, but don't be rigid. We should have emotional food. And I am with him completely with that, because I'm one that often overindulge. I like my caramel and I like pecans, and I love them together. And I love a good burger. So thanks to this wonderful hack that I'm going to demonstrate for you, Dr. Naram says you do this prior to eating unhealthful foods, right? So this one is performed on the right hand. I hope you can see it. I have on some white gloves to help. You will bend your index finger and your middle finger to your palm. And then you will bring the other two fingers, the ring finger, the pinky, and the thumb together. And you will press 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll show it again. Index, middle finger, right, down to the palm. Then you bring the ring and the pinky just to press the thumb, and that's what you press 6 times. You're to do that prior to eating pecan with caramel and those burgers and the pizza, right? Okay, so you did your marma and you've started eating all that delicious food, right? But then there's temptation. And you're tempted to go for that extra slice of pizza, or in my case, it will be the caramel chocolate bar. He gave us another hack, or I should call it marma. This one is on your left hand, and it's your ring finger, right? Your ring finger in your left hand, and you are to press the tip 6 times. This is to resist, okay? So say you're at the mall and you're going by and you see the scrumptious looking food, just do this marma to resist even indulging. So 6 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you can imagine, these spots on my body are kind of sore because I have indulged quite often. I'm a work in progress. So now the next marma I'll show you doesn't really have to do with your digestive system. It can, yes, it does indirectly. This one is for memory, right? Now this is performed on your left hand. And here it is. What you do, your thumb, right there, you will bring your index finger and press that part 6 times. So I hope you can see this 6 times, and that's to help with memory. Now here's something interesting that I'll do it the other way, sorry. This way, right here, there we go. That's the correct way, right here. That's for memory. So anything you want to remember, that's where you press 6 times. Now, guess what I discovered, because I experiment with everything. I haven't done the 28-day detox yet because I've been advised not to by my doctors in India. I have to do what is called a daily detox with cardamom and water. I have to take it slowly. So I wanted to increase my memory. This was working fantastic, but I wanted to go. I felt if I had done the 28 detox, I would have even better memory. So I asked Dr. Naram, I said, Dr. Naram, how can I hack this? And he says, water. So what I did is I wet my fingers. I wet the tip of my index finger and pressed that point. And oh my goodness me, I haven't forgotten anything since. So this works for me. I don't know if it will work for you. Dr. Naram says, focus on what works for you. And you know, our bodies are what, 65% water, and water is conductive, right? So I was like, yeah, that would make sense. And I don't even write a shopping list anymore. This is my shopping list. This is my save button here. You know how you have your computer and you hit that save? This is super save right here. You've got it, right? And I just tested it the other day. I remember I was watching the news and I would just press anytime they came up with a new story and the subject's name. And I remember 6 weeks later, the person's name. I'm like, oh my God, maybe I'll meet this person in the future. I don't know. But I remember his name and what he's all about. So this is like one of my favorites. So again, I'll show you 6 times right here. I use this index finger on the left hand and right here at the base of the thumb, just right there. And that's where I press. And I use water. I always wet my finger. And that has hacked, you know, so try it and see if it works for you. And I hope each of you around the world will find value in these marmas and what we're sharing with you today, and that you're able to share it with your respective communities. God bless you always. Thank you.
Hey, Andrea, Dr. Clint on the app that we have for the Ancient Secrets, he also says when you're walking, you do this as you walk. Like when you're doing a power walk or you just walk. No, this one, what you just showed.
Okay.
So you press that point as you're walking. If you're doing a little bit of fast walk, you press that as you're walking. So, and he says maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, whatever that you can do a bit of fast walking, then you do that. Also, if anybody likes cheese, and
yes,
you know cheese is dairy and it's bad for the body. One of the things that Krishna shared in one of the videos that I watched is that because he likes pizza so much and cheese is not good because it's dairy, Dr. Naram had told him to put black pepper, lots of black pepper, you know, the peppercorn, to put lots on the cheese, and that encounters the dairy part of it, basically. So it's not bad for your body. Not all the time, but every so often, if you fancy eating pizza, then put lots of black pepper, the peppercorns.
Thank you for sharing that, because I do have cheese here and I love cheese. And, you know, Dr. Naram says occasionally, and that's the new word I'm learning, because I was doing daily. I need to learn occasionally, you know, so thank you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you both. The marma was in the book, and then also the ones that Andrea was talking about was in the 100-day trainings. We have an app, and she took those from the app. And so thank you so much for sharing those. Awesome. Dr. Stephen and Dr. Pranav, do you have anything to say regarding the slides and the book? Are they on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call.
Yay, great.
So one really important part is that being fanatical about anything is also a imbalance. So we should allow the body, we should listen to the cravings and then think about it. Like if we have a craving for something, maybe we are missing something, maybe not what you're actually looking at, but always, especially with pregnancy, I tell women, your body knows every element in every food you've ever eaten. And when you have a craving, it's because you're missing a certain element. But it's to use your discretion, your discernment when you crave something. Not to just go for it, but to think about it for a second, take a breath. And when you eat it, enjoy it. There's nothing bad for you unless it becomes poisonous in the body, you know, because our body can't completely digest or eliminate that. But, you know, I when I was in India one time with Dr. Naram, we worked an entire day. We saw almost 500 patients that day in the clinic in India. And then we went out to the movies and I had popcorn. I think we had Chinese food right before that. And he was so joyful and excited, and we were all exhausted. And some of us were like, oh, why are we eating this kind of food? But it's like, no, you saw the enjoyment. And then he would cleanse his body when the body needs to be cleansed. And then, so I have many patients who do the 28-day program, and then they call, they're like, oh, my pain is back again. Well, what did you do? Well, we had a big family reunion. We ate all this Italian food for a whole week. I'm like, you need to prepare yourself before, go and enjoy, and then prepare yourself after to detox again. And I just want to share one quick story. I got a call from someone who has had their detox herbs, the 28-day herbs, for 6 months, and they finally did it. And he's never been able to lose weight in his life. And he lost 15.5 pounds in the first 8 days. He called it the mac and cheese of detox. I love that line, the mac and cheese of detox. So I'm going to leave you with that. You're on mute, Jayna.
Oh, Dr. Steve, I love your stories. Thank you so much. I so love your input. And I love that you were saying that we can do that occasionally if we prepare our bodies and then afterwards prepare our bodies for the detox, because it's, we can't live, I thought maybe I'm going to have to live on mung bean soup the rest of my life, but I'm glad to find out that I don't have to.
And I have clients who I have to question. They're like, I remember one person got up at a large event that I was emceeing, and they're like, oh, Dr. Steve, you're so wonderful. I've been doing the mung bean soup now for almost half a year. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to say something, though she was the first time she lost weight and didn't have any hanging skin. Like she hated losing weight because her skin would hang because she was very overweight. But, I tell people you cannot live on this. I've seen people go on very strict diets. I would go do a talk for their group, and people would have these blank, bland, boring faces, because that's what happens if you don't have also excitement in your food. So it's good to mix it up with things. It's good to the body gets better sometimes by challenging it, gets stronger by challenging it. So enjoy your life and eat mung bean soup.
That is really good to know that your body will get stronger by challenging it, because that's what I have noticed. I have noticed that when I get off of it, I kind of go through, at first I'm fine, but if I continue down that path, I get a little, uncomfortable. So I get back on the mung beans, and I find that my body responds really well. So that's awesome.
So a lot of healing comes from wounding the body, acupuncture, chiropractic, massage, panchakarma. The body responds with healing to sometimes wounding the body, wounding in a very conscious way. When you press into something and it hurts, the body sends healing there. So we can look at the diet. If we ate the same thing all the time and then our body met a big stress, it might handle it not as well because it doesn't know how to handle different stresses. Like I'm dressed right here. I've been downhill biking. I stress my body. In a safe way, I'm wearing all these pads. I wear a big helmet, but we stopped biking because there was lightning. You have to have some discernment in how you do things to have fun, be safe, but also take some risks, even in eating.
That is really good to know.
Question. Yeah. Sorry. Dr. Steve, is that why my skin started sagging? Because I was on mung bean for a year.
Well, again, I don't know, but it's again, your body is individual. You're a unique fingerprint. So yes. Based on your fingerprint, I've had people do it successfully for 9 weeks, 11 weeks. But then when they start to bring in other things to their body, it's sometimes hard at first. Their body's not used to taking on. Well, we have different bacteria in the body that digest different things. So it's good to give the body some variety at times, but with discernment and with discretion.
Yes, I was on mung bean every day. Having been a meat eater, so I cut down dairy, gluten, meat, and slowly I was going off all the other food, and I would just end up having one bowl of mung bean throughout the day with nothing to eat, because I was thinking if I eat biscuits is bad for me, egg is bad for me, dairy, no dairy, and slowly I totally stopped. And I became very, very like this.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Pranav is on the call as well. Dr. Pranav?
Thank you. So the most important thing for the diet would be depends on your appetite. So the Agni is the most important thing, no matter what you eat. So whatever diet we are talking right now is, we are assuming that most of the people are having toxins in your body. We need to digest those toxins. We need to reduce the inflammation. And that is the reason all the mung bean soup and everything. But if a person is having a very good appetite, if he is working out and everything, no matter what he eats, he can digest everything. So most of the people come to us with the complaints of metabolic disorders and many things. We give a very strict diet to them. And then after a month or two, when they are when they achieve what they have come for, then they are, can we have a cheat day? Then we say, yes, definitely you can have a cheat day for one. But for the next day, you need to control. You need to be only on a mung soup, so that whatever you had the earlier day need to be digested properly. So the most important thing is the diet has to be there, no doubt, but your Agni, your digestive power is the most important thing. Now, most of the time it happens that there are cravings. So cravings are basically due to a metabolic disorder, that you feel like eating particular thing. It is not the stomach that wants, but it is the brain that asks for it. And it is the most important thing. And you need to check whether it is the stomach or the brain. So most of the time it happens that you eat something, you have a lot of, you feel like you are very much hungry. And even if you have small amount, you feel like as if you had a lot. So it is not actually the appetite, it was just the brain that was asking for it. So you need to distinguish between that. Eat only when you have a good appetite. If you don't feel like eating, it's enough. It's fine to not eat. Just have a moon soup. That is also good. Most of the people feel that you should have a very nutritious food and this and that, everything. But if you don't have the digestive power or the fire to digest that nutritious food, that would be of no use to your body. It will just accumulate and will produce toxins and ama in the body. So concentrate on your Agni. That's the most important.
I love that. We're a unique fingerprint, and it depends on how our body is. If our body is not well, we might need to be on the mung bean soup diet for a longer time. But if we're well and we're detoxing fine, we may be able to have or introduce those foods into our diet again. So beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Pranav. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with us?
I think that would be enough, I think. If there are any questions, I would be happy to tell.
Dr. Pranav, how do you know? How do you know the food you've eaten is being digested? Is it when you don't get bloated, etc.? Please, thank you.
Yes. So the most important, I would go a step before that how do you know that you have an appetite? Before digestion, you should know that you have an appetite. So most of the time it happens that you feel like that you have appetite, but you just eat the food and within a small quantity you feel that you are full. So that is not actual appetite. So whenever you feel like hungry, just drink some hot water. Even after drinking a hot water, if you feel like you want to eat something, then you should definitely eat. But most of the time, when it is a false appetite, we call it as a false appetite. If you just drink water, a warm water, the appetite will subside. You won't feel like eating anything thereafter. So this is the distinction point that you should remember. That's the one thing. Second thing, whenever you eat food and when it gets digested, you feel light, your energy levels are high, you don't feel bloated, you don't feel gassy, your energy levels are high, and you are able to do whatever you want to, your routine work efficiently. Your memory and everything are efficiently working. But if it doesn't digest properly, then you will feel lethargic. You might feel gassy. You might feel constipated the other day. You might feel a body ache. These are all the complaints that you can feel.
Thank you. Dr. Steve, did you have something else?
I want this, I'm going to say this quote. I hope it, so it says, God gave you a fingerprint that no one else has, so you can leave an imprint that no one else can.
Yes.
So I'll leave you with that.
Robert has his hand up as well. Robert, would you like to share or ask your question?
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. I feel like often in this community, a lot of people talk about weight loss, which is great, but I'm in the opposite boat where I feel like I kind of need to gain weight. Is there any marmas or last week in the 100-day course, we learned about drinking water at a certain time to help with weight gain. But again, they said to be careful with that. So I was wondering if there's any advice to healthily gain weight.
So I have to actually run right now because someone got injured and I'm on ski patrol. So I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, but Dr.
Thank
Pranav,
you
if
so
you
much.
can answer that.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Bye-bye, Steve. Dr. Pranav?
Yes, can you just repeat the question? I didn't get your problem.
So he was
Yeah.
saying, oh, go ahead, Robert.
Oh, you can go. You're probably better than me at speaking, so.
No, I was just going to say, he was saying that we talk about weight loss, but he wants to gain weight. You know, what do you recommend for him to gain weight?
Right. So for gaining weight also, the most important thing is to see how your metabolism is. If the metabolism is on a lower side, we need to increase the metabolism initially. And then thereafter, we'll have to put some foodstuffs, which helps in increasing the weight. Basically, all the dairy products needs to be included. Fruits needs to be included, but only after increasing the metabolism. So all the dry fruits, everything. But this will be along with the exercise so that you don't put on just fats. It should be more of a proteins. So exercise is the most important thing along with the diet. If you want, we can send you a special diet for you, how to increase the weight, and you can initially start with the energy drink. That will also help you.
Robert, does that help?
Yeah,
Energy.
and I can
Yes.
email my Shakti doctor and ask for that email
Yes.
of diet to help with weight gain. So I assume that's a good thing to do.
Thank you for your question. Nujrat.
Hello, everybody. Namaste. I have two questions. I've advised a few of my friends and to do the detox diet because they need to lose some weight.
Right.
Is it good to drink only hot water in the morning before starting the day? Or should they add a teaspoon of honey and 10 drops of lime, not lemon? Would that help with the metabolic system, or it's...
Even drinking just lukewarm water can also help with increasing the metabolism. You need not add anything else. Anyhow, honey should not be added in a hot water, which is contraindicated, right? So just drinking lukewarm water is enough. If there are any other metabolic conditions, so it needs to be taken care of individually, and we need to see. Okay.
Okay. And are there any Marma points to help to lose weight that would increase your metabolic rate or flush out the toxins a bit faster?
I would suggest to basically concentrate on your diet and the herbs and the detox. That would be enough.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for your question. Thank you, Dr. Pranav. Any other questions? Wonderful. Well, I know that Gary Malcolm needs to be headed out. Gary, if you're still on the call, do we have time for your music? And then we'll have slides from Deborah.
I am here. Yes, I am. Um, it's so beautiful to see each other's faces. So I love that you make it a priority to have that moment for us to integrate the beauty of our community. So do we have time for it? Yeah? Okay, great, great. So this is my favorite moment in these calls because we get to see the panoply of the bouquet, the floral arrangement of our humanity together, right? And remember, if you don't want to have your face be seen, then just turn off the video. But if you do, remember, it's one of the greatest gifts we can give each other is to bless this community and one another with our love and our kindness as it emerges through the light of our eyes and our face and our facial expressions. So please, many of you sometimes keep your eyes closed. Don't miss out on the beautiful, beautiful array of gorgeousness that is bestowed upon you. This is the purpose of this. So I'm going to play something. I might have played this once before, but I just can't emphasize enough how important it is to allow the future to pull us into the being and to the life we all wish for, right? I'm feeling like since I've started Ancient Secrets work with Clint, I'm starting to feel like life and my future self is pulling me into a reality rather than me pushing myself into a reality that doesn't really respond to pushing very well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, pushing is like kind of like beating yourself, right? So in this piece of music, as we share our love and our presence with one another, allow this piece is called The Courage to Dream. You might remember it. I did it once long ago. And it's The Courage to Dream. It's on my Music of the Great Smoky Mountains album. And it's really perfect for feeling pulled by the vision of the future you wish to have for yourself and for all of humanity, if that's what you're inclined to think about. So think about this being that is calling you, your future self. And that is a beautiful driver for the changes we want to see in the world and in our lives. Here we go. And I'll assume that you'll take care of the spotlighting. So I'm going to just share the audio only. And I'm so excited to be able to share this. Because a lot of people say it's really, really great for visioning the future. And it's from my Smoky Mountain album, and I'll post some things about it later. But right now, just allow yourselves to bless each other with this beautiful music way to do it. Here we go. Are you able to spotlight, by the way? I hope so. Yes, good. So what I've noticed is that I never get to share my face and my reflection in silence with the music because nobody seems to call on me when I'm doing the music. So I just want to take a moment and just exude my love with my eyes. This moment that I saw all of you, but when Dorina was there and there was this face and then all of a sudden her face lit up with a smile. This is what this call is all about, is we're never alone, even when we feel alone. We are supported by such a profound connection to the remembrance of this abiding love that is the driver of this whole experience of the book and of Clint's reasons for writing the book and chronicling the beautiful movement in the world that Dr. Naram has begun. We love Dr. Naram, we love Clint, we love all of you. I love you, and I'm with you. And that album I will put in the chat is called The Music of the Great Smoky Mountains. And again, join us at Wisdom of the World, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to honor you all with the music that I've created in my life. I love you all.
Gary, thank you so much. I just seeing your faces, I'm just overwhelmed with love for all of you guys. I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way. Just brought me to tears. I know that we are, you know, an hour and a half in, but we have some incredible, an incredible presentation from Deborah. Would love to have her share with us. If you guys would love to hang on with us again, it just kind of anchors in a little bit more about what we've been talking about. So Cornelia, if you're ready for the slides, and Deborah, if you're ready to give the presentation, we'd love that.
All right. All right, Cornelia, are you going to make me a guest presenter?
I just did.
Okay. Yay. Okay.
Your co-host, you should be able to share your slides.
All right. Well, that's good. Okay, so let's slide this out of the way. All right, now you can see them and hear me both?
Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, so this has been such an incredible call. I hardly even know where to begin, but this is just going to be what it brought together for us today, having this call before this presentation, is to remember not to be too strict and not to get tied up, because Clint told us, and the other speakers have told us, pay attention to how it feels in your body. So this is going to be kind of review, pull things together, and give you basics that'll help you be more successful. They talked about the 3 doshas, and it's actually made up of the 5 elements. And they talked about we have a fingerprint. And so we usually have 1 or 2 doshas that are predominant, and we're going to go more and learn a little bit more about them as we talk about the foods. The prakruti is the Sanskrit word for that fingerprint we have at the time of birth that's kind of fixed for life, of our deepest tendencies. And the vikruti that they talk about is the state of the doshas as we're exposed to life and the environment and experiences. So they're both available, but when we treat somebody with Ayurveda or Sudhiveda, we're treating the vikruti or where they're at right now with their doshas. So somebody can be Vata, and Vata is like the wind. It's ever changing and moving, it's dry. And so our life, especially over here in the United States, is very fast moving. And so we can get our Vata out of balance. And so it takes, for somebody with Vata constitution, they'll develop that Vata imbalance faster. So it all ties together. Seasons can affect the doshas. Like in spring, we have a lot more wind energy. In the summer, we have a lot more of the fire energy or pitta. In autumn, the vata or wind energy. And in the winter, when we're in our homes and the heat and the warmth and the heavier foods, we develop a lot more kapha or earth and water energy. Doshas can be affected by the stage of life. Trying to get your teenager out of bed because they're in that kapha energy. Pitta, where we're creating and we have lots of fire energy and we're moving a lot. And then at the end of life, more vata, where we're drying out, consumed by. It's amazing that following this, you actually you can age gracefully and have much better health. So I love that part of it. Time of day can also affect the doshas. Morning, you want to eat more invigorating foods and bring your appetite to the main meal at lunch, where you have the strongest digestive fire, which was mentioned several times today, how important that digestive fire is. And in the evening, you want to prepare more for sleep. They talked about in Ayurveda and Siddhaveda, the practitioners can determine the amount of vata and pitta and kapha in the body through the ancient science of pulse reading. So it's important to know which foods produce vibrant health, unlimited energy, and peace of mind. And to do this, it helps to understand the types of food and the characteristics that balance your particular elements and doshas. I love that. And medicine for one man can be poison for another because we're so unique and different. One of the things that makes a big difference is how much our digestive fire is, which they call Agni. And it's our ability to absorb and eliminate. So Agni can be too hot or too low. So if you can tell how good your digestion is by how you feel. So if you eat and you can break down the food completely, you should feel strengthened and refreshed after eating. Low agni, where you'll feel tired and sluggish after eating. So you can tell how well you can digest certain foods the same way. There may be some foods that are easy to digest and your agni is strong enough. And some, if you feel tired and sluggish, you know that necessarily wasn't the best thing for you. So it's paying attention to your body. Ama is the mucus or toxic mucus from undigested food. So if you have low agni, or if you're eating foods that your body can't digest, and you can't clear it, then it builds up and accumulates in the body and can clog the channels and even coat and clog cell membranes. So this is what causes disease. So if you have low agni, it increases the toxins, and then the toxins further disrupt the agni. So you want to catch that cycle early. And I love how they said, oh, you can have the food you want, but you prepare first, then you eat the foods, and then you detox afterwards. So you don't want to affect your agni, and you don't want to build up the ama that causes disease. And I remember the first time I looked at this list of what causes ama and that buildup of that toxic mucus, I had quite a few of those things in my own personal life. So now some foods can be medicine for one body and type and are poison for another. So one of the things in Ayurveda and Siddhaveda are the 6 tastes. And the reason the 6 tastes kind of line up with the doshas is the doshas are made out of the elements. So a sweet is earth and water, and it's cooling. So it balances vata and pitta. So if you look at pitta, is that fire energy, the heat in the body. So you need stuff that's cooling to help balance the pitta. So sweet is good, but if you have too much sweet, then you could end up with things like diabetes. So it's all about the balance. Sour is heating. So it's fire and water, and it decreases vata and stimulates the pitta and kapha. So each of these different elements ties in. Salty is earth and fire, and it's cooling. So it decreases the vata and it increases the pitta and kapha. So pungent is mostly heating, and astringent is cooling and grounding, and bitter is mostly cooling. So each of these different types of foods can be used to help, and we'll go a little bit into that today. Vata, I like to see the vata like the wind, erratic and changeable, lots of ideas, very sociable, easy come, easy go with money. They don't like a lot of structure, and you can tell a vata person by the dry skin and the dry hair, the longer limbs, smaller teeth, hard to put on weight. And they're a little bit more nervous, they're light sleepers and have insomnia. And so there we go, the air and the ether, the movement of the wind. And so vata foods would be dry, light, cool, flexible, rough, and hard. And so Pooja Lankar's, I'm sorry she couldn't be here today, but this is some of the suggestions she had for a vata person to support your body if you're mostly vata, if that is your primary dose, one of your primary doses. And so if vata is all drying and it's like the wind, they need warm porridges from and warm soups. So she gave some really good ideas here about what you could have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then when vata gets out of balance, you have things like constipation, hypertension, arthritis, restlessness, stomach problems, headaches, dry skin, insomnia. And so when Dr. Pooja was talking to us, she says, if you have vata and vata is out of balance, things that are strongly balancing for vata are things that are cooling, like salty substances. So some moderately balancing foods she suggested was like the alma berry, which is known as the Indian gooseberry, or mango powder, but not strong sour like lemon. And weak balancing for the vata type would be things that are cooling, like the nuts and grains. Pitta is the next dosha. So it's fire and water elements. And so very organized, focused, structured, driven, got to get things done. I know this one very well. This is one of my primary types. Go, go, go until nothing left, burn self out. Needs to understand how, why. Read self-help books, want to be heard, intentionally speaks to one or more two people at a party. I'm not the one that goes and talks to everybody at the party. So this is some of the physical characteristics: average size, more freckles and moles, sweats a lot, drinks a lot. And then what happens under stress is a little bit different, kind of irritability. So pitta foods that are fire and water are oily, greasy, light, hot, flexible, liquid, and soft. And one of the things Dr. Pooja recommended is that we can replace those foods. If we really have a love for these type of foods, we can replace them with a baked alternative. This was one of the things she said would be perfect for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The digestive juices of pitta are very strong in the morning, so a warm porridge or cereal with spelt toast and butter. And then lunch is when the pitta fire is the highest for all the dosha types. So should be your main meal. And so she said the pitta people can have legumes and vegetables and some carbs and eggs and some light sweetwater fish, and then a light dinner. When pitta is out of balance, it's that excessive heat in the body, acidity, acid reflux, indigestion, nausea, gas, diarrhea, constipation, ulcers, the bad breath and body odor, excessive sweating, inflammation of the joints, acne, and then the irritability. To balance pitta, so pitta is fire and water. So you want the strong balancing are the bitter, which are air and space. So they're the most cooling. So green leafy vegetables, cabbage, celery, broccoli, bean sprouts, and turmeric. And one of the things that I didn't really realize, because I was always thinking that raw vegetables were so good, that when your agni or your digestive fire is very low, even though most of these vegetables are strongly balancing, if I have a low digestive fire, then I need to cook those vegetables to aid in my digestion. Also, if I have a low digestive fire, I need to chew them because somebody said the other day, there's no teeth in your stomach. So I really appreciated that there's no teeth in your stomach. Moderate balancing, sweet is a moderate balancing for pitta, and astringent is weak balancing. And so it's all the cooling paste to balance the pitta. Kapha. The kapha person is very reserved and grounded, and they like structure, they're patient. They're more likely to listen to talk. Everybody wants to go talk to them because they're just, they feel that loving presence and that grounding. They're family and community oriented, take a while to get going. Bigger bone, bigger hands and feet, wider shoulders, oily skin. The joints are lubricated and stronger, so they could be have more flexibility in certain types of their diet. Stress shows in the mind and they keep it to themselves. So you'll see kapha foods are oily, greasy, heavy, cool, static, sticky, and soft. And you'll see the dairy in there. And I thought it was interesting that Dr. Pranav was talking about, once you get in balance and you want to gain weight, you can add the dairy in. For a lot of people, dairy's not healthy. So I just thought that was interesting. And then Dr. Pooja said that if you have the kapha constitution, breakfast can be omitted entirely, as taken as late as possible. And then for lunch, bitter and astringent vegetables, and prepared with hot digestive spices. So kapha does really well with the spicy food. So they were talking about earlier today, Dr. Clinton in the book talked about, he tried to put the hot sauce on his and he was pitta, and it did not go very well. So you have to know your type, because for one person, that hot sauce, I know people that put it on top of everything and they have that kapha foundation. So, and then someone with else, it could be very disturbing to their digestive system. When kapha is out of balance, there's a heaviness, lethargy, laziness, respiratory ailments like allergies, mucus congestion, weight gain. So they talked about, like in winter, when you go through that, where there's an increase of kapha, where we're sitting around and we're eating heavier foods and we build up that mucus over the winter, and we need to get the kapha out of our body by detoxing. Kapha is also weight gain and fluid retention, excessive sleep, poor appetite, nausea, diabetes, depression. So the way to balance that kapha when it gets out of balance is to use strong balancing, the pungent or the spicy peppers, chilies, onions, garlic, cayenne, black pepper, ginger, radishes. I notice if I ever start to feel like I'm getting a cold, that's the only time I crave foods like that. And I think that might be one of those cravings that's actually telling my body it needs something to get the kapha out. Bitter is moderately balancing on the kapha, and astringent is weak balancing. And then one of the things I on the call, we were talking about chapter 11 today, and Dr. Naram's masters that lived over 100 years, Clint said, ate lots of mung soup and ghee. And mung soup is the recipes on page 174 of the book. And it said, it's rich in protein, reduces inflammation, and has detoxifying effects. So it rids the body of all that or toxicity that builds up over time from poor diet and exercise. And ghee balances all three dosha types. So that's really, and then Pooja also gave us some suggestions, because one of the things, it was interesting, he said, Dr. Naram was, when he first went to Italy, we were talking earlier in the call, and he says, well, what do you have to avoid? We have to avoid wheat and cheese. and so Dr. Lanker says, well, you know, you maybe can't have wheat, but here's some alternatives that are a little bit healthier and more easily to digest and not as hard on the agni, for different types of breads or cereals you can try. Cakes or pancakes, different milk substitutes. If you can't have the dairy, if your agni's not strong enough and it's not the right dosha type for you to have dairy, peanut butter, you could use sunflower seed spread, and try different substitutes for tomatoes. A lot of people don't tolerate tomatoes. So I like the summary of the training for that week was in the 100-day courses. Dr. Clint says, don't get stuck in your head. You know, it's good to know your doshas. It's good to, I love, you see your Ayashakti practitioner or a person that can let you know where you're at and help guide you, because there's so many factors involved in it. But experiment with how foods feel in your body and affect your mind and emotions. Remember, it is how you digest the food sometimes rather than food itself. So right now, if you start out on this path and your agni or your digestive fire is low, there may be certain things you can't tolerate. And maybe you have to do more mung bean soup in the beginning. But as you get healthier and stronger and you build your digestive fire, then you can enjoy more things without building up the or the toxins. So it's all a process, and you have to just love yourself for where you're at in that process and allow yourself the time to heal, because we didn't get here overnight. So, so many things affect that agni, right?
It was so beautiful. Oh, I don't know where the background noise is coming from, but thank you so much, Deborah. I so appreciate it. If you want to, well, before you stop the screen share, it was funny, before the call, Rochelle had said, boy, we've got so many people on the call. It's like a church choir. And it is. You guys, thank you so much for singing with me today. You know, I so appreciate you guys bringing your talents and your gifts to the call, because this is what this call is all about, is you. It's not about us. It's about you. So I so appreciate every single one of you with all of the gifts and talents. So I wanted to leave that last slide up there, and Maryam, will you lead us in the close of our call?
Okay, yes, of course. Before we do, I also want to just say that I'm so grateful to be here, and so humbled to just be co-hosting with you today, Jayna. I mean, you have brought so much love to this, to organizing all of this, and I'm so thankful for everybody that's joined us, and I just feel so incredibly blessed, and I was so moved. Like, there's been so many times where I've cried, because it's just so powerful to be here. So yeah, let's all join our hands together and just get that energy flowing. I invite you to unmute yourself. I love you, and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Love you
I love you.
and I'm with
Love
you.
you and I'm with
Love you and I'm with
you.
you.
Love you and I'm with
You and I'm
you.
with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
Love you
Love you and I'm with you.
Love you, Sheila. Love you,
Love you and
Marcia. Love
I'm
you,
with
Love you,
you.
Pranav. Love you, Brenda.
You and I'm with you.
And I'm with
Love
you.
you, Dr. Clint. Love you, Dr. Pranav. Love you, Dr. Stephen.
And I'm with you.
Love you
You,
guys. Thank
Judy.
you,
Love
everybody.
you,
I love you,
Sarnjeet.
Dr.
Thank
Quinn.
you.
Love
Love
you.
you,
Love you, Cornelia.
Yeah, we love you.
Love you.
with you.
Love
I'm
you,
with you.
Arsena. Love you, Gail. Love you all.
Love you.
Love you,
Love
Brad.
you all.
Love you,
Love
Joseph.
you and I'm with
Love you,
you.
Marie.
I love you.
Dear ones, thank you so much for being here today with us during this beautiful musical that we have created here. Thank you so much to Jayna and to Maryam for the co-hosting and doing such an incredible job. And to all of our special guests who have provided just the right notes for this beautiful musical. Thank you for being here. Next week, we will be going over chapter, is it 12? And this one is about animals. So all of you who are animal lovers in any possible way, I know Lisa Lowe is going to be co-hosting with us, and we have a possible another connection with the animal world that's going to be joining us during this call. So it'll be a really exciting call for you. And we look forward to having you here. So namaste, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, and know that we are loving you so greatly on your journey. Beautiful. Thank you.
I didn't say I love you, I'm with you. So I love you all and I'm with you all.
Beautiful.